Welcome to Classy Deco, your go-to channel for vintage home design and interior inspiration. Today, we're diving into one of the most heartwarming, nostalgia-filled aesthetics, Grandmacore for small cottages. This style celebrates coziness, timeless charm, and a touch of rustic elegance, bringing the warmth of yesteryear into modern living. Whether you own a small cottage or dream of turning your space into a vintage sanctuary, this guide will provide all the inspiration you need. If you love vintage decor, be sure to subscribe to Classy Deco, hit the like button, and leave a comment about your favorite Grandmacore elements. Now, let's explore how to create a home that feels like a warm hug from the past. Grandmacore is more than just a design trend, it's a way of life. It captures the essence of a cozy, old-fashioned home, where everything tells a story, and comfort is key. Inspired by our grandmother's homes, this aesthetic blends floral prints, handcrafted decor, vintage furniture, and a sense of time-worn elegance. In a small cottage, Grandmacore works perfectly because it thrives on intimate, layered spaces filled with personality. From antique teacups to hand-knitted throws, every detail plays a role in crafting a space that feels lived in and loved. The Grandmacore color palette revolves around soft, muted tones that evoke a sense of nostalgia. Think warm creams, dusty roses, sage greens, and faded blues, colors that mimic the aged charm of well-loved fabrics and antique wallpapers. In a small cottage, these hues make the space feel light, airy, and inviting. Consider using floral-patterned wallpaper, vintage lace curtains, or distressed painted furniture to layer these colors throughout your home. The goal is to create a space that feels like stepping into a cherished memory. Nothing says Grandmacore quite like antique or vintage-style furniture. Look for wooden chairs with spindle-backs, farmhouse tables, and well-worn armoires with intricate carvings. The charm of this aesthetic is in the imperfections. Furniture with a slightly chipped paint finish or a weathered patina adds authenticity to the look. Small cottages benefit from multifunctional vintage furniture, like a storage bench at the entryway or a roll-top desk that doubles as a writing nook. Mixing heirloom pieces with flea market finds will bring character and history into your home. A true Grandmacore cottage is filled with handmade and handcrafted details. Crocheted doilies, patchwork quilts, and hand-stitched pillows bring a unique, personal touch. Look for embroidered linens, handmade pottery, and wooden kitchen utensils that feel like they were passed down through generations. Even if you don't have vintage family heirlooms, you can easily recreate the look by visiting thrift shops, flea markets, or even trying your hand at DIY projects like candle making or knitting. Floral prints are at the heart of Grandmacore decor. Whether it's a floral wallpaper, vintage-inspired bedding, or delicate china patterns, these motifs bring a romantic and feminine touch to any space. Small cottages benefit from floral prints because they add warmth and softness to compact rooms. Mix and match different patterns, such as gingham and florals, to achieve a layered, nostalgic look. Don't be afraid to embrace the charm of a mismatched aesthetic, it only adds to the whimsical appeal. Lighting plays a crucial role in creating the soft, inviting ambience of Grandmacore. Opt for warm, golden lighting through vintage-inspired lamps with pleated shades, candle sconces, and delicate fairy lights. If you have a fireplace, enhance its cozy charm with antique brass candlesticks and a well-worn rocking chair nearby. In a small cottage, using mirrors strategically can help reflect natural light and make the space feel more open and airy while still maintaining that cozy glow. The kitchen is the heart of any Grandmacore cottage, filled with nostalgia and practicality. Open wooden shelves lined with vintage teacups, floral tins, and glass jars filled with baking essentials instantly set the tone. A farmhouse sink, lace curtains, and a well-loved wooden table create an inviting space to bake, cook, and gather. Incorporate vintage cookware like enamel pots, copper pans, and an old-fashioned kettle for authenticity. Small cottages can benefit from peg rails for hanging utensils and baskets for additional storage. Decorating with antique books, trinkets, and collectibles brings personality to your Grandmacore cottage. Stack old books with yellowed pages on side tables, display framed embroidery pieces, or collect vintage postcards to use as wall art. Small cottages can utilize vertical space with floating shelves or antique hutches to store and display these treasures. Every item should evoke a sense of history, whether it's a childhood storybook, an old clock, or a cherished family heirloom. Grandmacore thrives on cozy textiles, think chenille bedspreads, handwoven rugs, and lace tablecloths. Layering different textures, from soft wool throws to ruffled curtains, adds depth and warmth to a small space. Using vintage-inspired upholstery and floral slipcovers on furniture can instantly transform a modern piece into something that feels like it belongs in a bygone era. The key is to mix patterns and textures in a way that feels natural and inviting. A Grandmacore home isn't complete without a connection to nature. Bring the outdoors in with fresh flowers in vintage vases, dried lavender bundles, and potted herbs in the kitchen. Floral wreaths, botanical prints, and pressed flowers framed as wall art also add a natural, old-world charm. If space allows, a small cottage garden with wildflowers, a climbing rose trellis, or a charming window box filled with blooms can enhance the aesthetic beautifully. A cozy reading nook is a must for any Grandmacore cottage. Find a quiet corner, add a vintage armchair or a window seat with plump cushions, and surround it with stacks of books. Soft lighting, a crochet throw, and a side table with a steaming cup of tea complete the perfect reading retreat. In a small cottage, maximize space by incorporating a built-in bookshelf or using a vintage trunk as storage and a tabletop for your favorite reads. Grandmacore embraces the old-fashioned charm of slow living, and what better way to celebrate it than with an elegant tea time? Use delicate china, embroidered napkins, and a tiered tray filled with scones and pastries for an intimate gathering. Hosting guests in a small cottage can feel magical with vintage-inspired table settings, candlelight, and homemade treats. The art of entertaining, Grandmacore style, is about making people feel welcome and cherished. Transforming a small cottage into a Grandmacore dream is all about embracing warmth, history, and personal touches. It's about creating a home that feels like a treasured storybook, filled with memories, comfort, and charm. If you're inspired by this timeless aesthetic, start small, add a vintage quilt, swap in floral prints, or hunt for unique flea market finds. And don't forget to subscribe to Classy Deco, hit the like button, and leave a comment sharing your favorite Grandmacore element. Let's keep the vintage love alive, one cozy cottage at a time.